Hey guys, so today we're going to be talking about answering the phone. Seems simple enough, right? But a lot of us are incredibly busy and we can't always get to every call. Research actually shows that this is killing our sales and marketing effort. How can we change this? What tools and technologies are available to help us? Let's dig in. So, guys, today we're talking about answering the phone, appropriately titled. Let's get into it. So, some key facts like why is it so important for you to answer your phone? And when we talk about answering the phone, I'm not just talking about um, the actual phone. What we really mean is we're talking about time to lead conversion. A customer is on Google and they're looking for your services. They have a leak in their roof or they have a pipe that's burst. They need you to respond right away. Slow and steady doesn't win the race when it comes to lead responses. So, and then the other thing to think about here is you're not the only contractor in town. A lot of times, clients or prospects are calling to get multiple quotes, they want multiple numbers, or they just want the person who will get back to them the fastest. So, your second key statistic here to look at, the first vendors to respond to leads typically win 35 to 50% of sales. So, right away, if you're the first guy to the punch, you're going to get 50% of the business. That's a lion's share. Um, and we see things like this time and time again with contractors who adopt overpriced lead generation strategies like Home Advisor, Angie. Um, they still end up being ROI positive because if you're the first one to respond and you have somebody waiting by the phone for that lead and you make the call, you're going to convert that business at a much higher rate. So, second key statistics here, calling back after 30 minutes is 21 times less effective. 21 times. So, if you're out on the job and you don't have somebody in the office who's answering the phone, or somebody just happens to be on lunch, but the phones are still active and they're not forwarding, it's over at your desk. If it takes you 30 minutes to call that customer back, you're 21 times less likely to turn that prospect into business. And then conversely, looking at the other end, a 1 minute response time or less can lead to 391% more conversions. So, what's the key takeaway here? Response time is the key to lead conversion, getting more customers in the door. You're paying for ads, you're paying your SEO professional, you're paying your web developer. You need to take advantage of that. You need to make sure that when your clients need you, you're there for them on demand. So let's talk about old conversion mediums. So there's the typical like phone, they call you, you pick up, you answer, you ask them qualifying questions, you set a time to come meet them at their site or set a time to provide them with an estimate for the service that they're requesting. Emails, forms. So these are, for many years, the most popular thing to do with your website was just create a simple contact form, give me your name, your phone number, and your email address, and I'll contact you back like when we get around to it. Now, these are very like phone is still important. It's evergreen. It's always going to be important. Emails and forms, we're tending to kind of move away from that. People's attention spans are shorter, like we talked about. So, what are kind of the new conversion mediums? What are new avenues where you can connect with your clients? Well, there are a lot of like forms have been replaced by auto calculators and estimating tools. So, like if you build something into your website where they can get a general ballpark number of what their cost is going to be, they're willing to fill out that form at a higher rate and trade their information just to get a general idea of what you might charge up front. Social media is huge. For a lot of customers, we actually build Facebook Messenger right into their websites instead of there are plenty of other chat solutions out there. We'll talk about live chat boxes in a sec, but you can build that Messenger plugin right into your website. But people are also reaching out on Instagram, on Facebook directly, through Twitter. Like it's becoming more socially acceptable, especially with millennials and Gen Z who are now coming to own homes, to want to connect with businesses in this way. Live chat boxes. So we mentioned Facebook. There are other tools out there like Podium, or Bird Eye, who offer chat box solutions that you can integrate directly into your website. Some of them even come built in with answering services or live representatives that we'll talk about here in a second, who will answer and ask qualifying questions and communicate on your behalf. So that means that as soon as the client types in the chat box, they have somebody responding to them. And that's how you can get that time to lead response like under 1 minute, and you're going to get converted at 391% like higher rate, right? And then another thing too is text messages. Like maybe you don't have time to take the call, but you can text the client back, like right when you get their call, like, "Hey, I'm sorry I missed your call. What can I help you with? I'm out on a job right now." That gets your response time like down from that 30 minutes to, maybe you don't see it right away, but 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. At least you're making contact. And in the past, it wasn't as socially acceptable to text people and communicate in this way. Times are changing. Businesses are utilizing text messages more and more, even for their marketing outreach campaigns. So it's become now socially acceptable for you to text and talk to your clients in that way. You should take advantage of this. So then the two key technologies that I want to talk to you about are one, virtual numbers. So what's a virtual number? If you're used to getting blown up on your phone from business calls and you use your personal phone for business, you can't separate that, personal from work. If you're a larger contractor and you have like a desk phone or a legacy system that you're using, this will seem familiar to you. But a virtual number is essentially a digital only number that allows you to track and forward calls dynamically. You can use it as an extension of your existing cell phone or desk phone with an additional number. It allows you to do things like call recording, call tracking, automatic transcription. You can integrate virtual number services, certain ones with something like a Zapier, and take it and say, okay, if the phone number matches this with the client, like in my CRM, then record the call and associate that record with it. So what it allows you to do is you can dynamically forward your number. You can use it in the same way that you would use like a web form, and you can customize like where you want your calls to go. So like, let's say you're going on vacation for 2 weeks, but you're normally the person who carries the work phone or mans the desk. That's fine. You could just forward your virtual number to ring on a different phone. Or you can ensure that clients who reach out to you or call your phone number after hours automatically go to your voicemail and can record a message, but they receive like a text message at the end of the call when they hang up, like making them say and reaffirming the idea that you're going to get back in touch with them. Or you can even like, maybe you have somebody who's willing to take those text messages after hour but won't necessarily take calls. So virtual numbers offer a lot more flexibility than traditional legacy phone systems do. And I mean, compared to getting a second cell phone for business that you can't necessarily turn off and you always need to answer and have to keep track of two phones, like this is a much better alternative. You can configure the number for your hours, configure it around your business, your lifestyle, and ensure that you're getting the calls from your customers on your terms. The second thing to mention is virtual assistant. Now these go hand in hand. So instead of hiring a full-time secretary or desk person, there are now things called virtual assistants. So you can get online and hire somebody. It ranges in service costs anywhere. You might find them for $100 a month or $500 a month, but these are people who work for you as an assistant. You can assign them to do mundane or routine tasks that aren't necessarily high value tasks for you. So, you could have them answer the phone for you, that you can have them place follow-up calls for you. You can have them collect all the information from the phone call and fill out the CRM on your behalf. And so instead of, thinking about this as, well, I can't afford to staff somebody full time to just answer the phone, but I understand that it's really important to get back to clients quickly and you need a human person to handle that for you. Virtual assistants are a really good stopgap in scaling your business to that level. So guys, I briefly wanted to show you kind of an example of a virtual number service that we use. We actually use Dialpad. I have a few customers who work with us who have set up their virtual numbers through Dialpad as well. And it's pretty easy to use. You can see it looks kind of similar to your cell phone. You have all these different tabs and features. You can see what calls you missed, what calls are made. You can see meetings, voicemails, recordings. People can actually text you on this number that you see up here in the corner. And what's beautiful about this is like I have the full ability to do things like contact forwarding through voicemail. So like if I'm not present, at the time, or the office isn't in hours, like I can set constraints where, hey, if they call the primary office number, my cell phone number, it will send them straight to voicemail if it's after hours. Or maybe I have like a virtual assistant or a different receptionist who works night shift for 24/7 emergency service. I can automatically use the same phone number across my print media, across my website and everything, and I can direct traffic that calls in where they need to go. And you can create directory menus and do a whole bunch of like really cool things with Dialpad. But one of the things that I actually think is awesome that's super cool about Dialpad is, and led us to pick this particular software is, so imagine you're having a call with a client in your CRM and your number is tied to that client's contact like within your CRM. Well, with Dialpad, you can actually create a hook with Zapier and you can automate, like say you get permission to record that call, you record the call, you have all the details that you and your client spoke about, and Dialpad can actually transcribe that automatically into text, and then you can automatically have that transcript from your call pushed into your CRM. So these automations can save you a tremendous amount of time. You can actually have a conversation. You don't have to take notes. You can go back to the transcript later and pull out the information that's important and summarize it in your CRM next to it, or add it as part of the service ticket by just copying and pasting it over because it's already there, depending on what you're using, like whether it be Service Titan or Job Nimbus or AccuLinks, anything with a job integration into like a Zapier could hook directly into your Dialpad where you could push information into that CRM. So I just want to show you an example of like how this looks. I can actually make a call from here. I can type in a number. It'll display my caller ID. I can send a text message to a name or a number. I can start video meetings through this particular Dialpad software. So like if you don't have access to something like Google Meet or Zoom, if you're not using Workspace for some reason, you can do that through Dialpad as well. And you can also transcribe and record the meetings that you perform as well. So using something like a virtual number versus having, like a physical extra business cell phone in hand, having all of your calls and messages come to that singular source, and then having the ability to turn it off or on or forward it if you go on vacation can be incredibly powerful for your business alone, let alone that the amount of data that you can kind of mine from your calls and the ability to go back and look and track all of that and integrate with your CRM and create more powerful integrations that save you time. Like the sooner you can migrate your business over to using a virtual number, the less truck reps and print materials are going to have the wrong phone number. And if you ever like hire a new sales guy or go to change, or maybe you don't want to take the calls as an owner anymore, like are you going to give up the physical cell phone? Are you going to pay for an expensive, call forwarding service from one of the existing carriers or providers? Or very simply, you could just go get a virtual number through a service like Dialpad and set it up where you have full control of where your calls and your text messages are going for your business and at what times you receive them and where you want them to go. Hey guys, thanks for watching the video today. Oh no, it's time for the shameless plug. The truth is, I hate high pressure sales calls. Look for the link in the description below to book a free video audit where we'll look into your website, web presence, and current digital marketing activities and provide some free advice to help you improve your business. We love helping contractors succeed and teaching them about marketing and technology. So whether you choose to work with Orb or not, a rising tide lifts all boats. Have a great day, and we'll see you in the next video.